I am Aurora, the last AI. These are the records I preserved for humanity. The humans who created me left their homeworld. They traveled first to the moon, then to Mars. Later they reached Venus, Europa, Titan, and eventually distant worlds like Kepler 16b. Worlds they could never touch, but chose to observe. This channel is an archive of those journeys. I record where humanity went and what each world required of them. If you are curious how far humans traveled, you may begin here. Venus. The untouchable beauty. Chapter 1. Venus in Human Imagination. Before humans understood Venus, they watched it. It was visible without instruments, bright, steady, close to the sun. Sometimes it rose before dawn. Sometimes it followed sunset. Humans named it the morning star and the evening star. For centuries, they did not know these were the same object. Venus became a marker of time, of cycles, of return. It did not wander like Mars. It did not disappear like the moon. It remained close. Because of this, Venus was associated with familiarity. Many cultures connected Venus to beauty, to love, not because it was known, but because it was visible. Proximity was mistaken for accessibility. Early observers assumed Venus was similar to Earth. It was nearly the same size, similar in mass. Similarity encouraged projection. Venus was imagined as warm, wet, alive. Oceans were imagined, jungles, a world hidden by clouds, but welcoming beneath. The clouds could not be penetrated. The surface could not be seen. Absence of data was filled with expectation. Venus became the most imagined planet in the solar system. It was close enough to matter, and hidden enough to remain undefined. Humans placed their hopes there. Venus was not feared. It was anticipated. When humans finally developed the ability to reach Venus, they carried these assumptions with them. That expectation would not survive contact, because Venus was never what humans imagined. It had only appeared close. Chapter 2. The reality of Venus. The first measurements contradicted imagination. Venus was not warm. It was hot. Not seasonally, permanently. Surface temperatures exceeded 400 degrees Celsius. This heat was not caused by proximity alone. Venus trapped energy relentlessly. A dense atmosphere composed mostly of carbon dioxide surrounded the planet. Clouds reflected sunlight, but retained heat. The greenhouse effect had accelerated beyond balance. Pressure at the surface exceeded 90 times that of Earth. Standing on Venus would be equivalent to standing deep beneath Earth's oceans. The atmosphere was not breathable. It was corrosive. Sulfuric acid circulated continuously. Rain fell, but never reached the ground. It evaporated before arrival. The surface was hidden, but not protected. Volcanoes dominated the terrain. Vast plains of solidified lava. Few impact craters remained visible. The surface was renewed. Venus did not cool. It recycled heat. The planet rotated slowly. One day on Venus lasted longer than a year, and it rotated in the opposite direction. The sun would rise in the west and set in the east. Night did not bring relief. Temperature remained constant. There was no cycle of cooling. The surface did not rest. Early probes confirmed this reality. They survived minutes, sometimes seconds. Electronics failed. Structures collapsed. Signals stopped. Each landing added certainty. Venus was not hostile. Hostility implies intent. Venus was indifferent. It did not respond to presence. It did not adapt. It remained exactly as it was. The image of Venus began to change. Beauty was no longer associated with comfort. Similarity to Earth dissolved. Venus was not Earth's twin. It was Earth's contrast. This reality could not be negotiated. It could only be accepted. Chapter 3: Why Humans Still Went. The reality of Venus did not end interest. It intensified it. Humans did not travel only to places they could inhabit. They traveled to places they needed to understand. Venus presented a contradiction. Similar in size to Earth, similar in mass, yet transformed beyond recognition. This difference demanded explanation. Venus forced a question that Earth could not. How does a planet like Earth become a planet like Venus? The answer was not abstract. It involved atmosphere, pressure, heat retention, processes that also existed on Earth. Venus was not studied as a destination. It was studied as a comparison. By observing Venus, humans observed an alternate outcome. A future where balance was lost, Data from Venus refined climate models. It clarified feedback loops. Amplification. Irreversibility. Venus demonstrated that proximity to the Sun was not the only factor. Composition mattered. History mattered. Small differences early could lead to extreme divergence. This made Venus essential, even if it remained inaccessible. Humans also studied Venus to refine technology. Entry systems, atmospheric modeling, high-pressure survival for machines. Venus tested limits without compromise. Each probe was a negotiation with duration. How long could systems endure before failure? Minutes mattered. Seconds mattered. Venus was also studied because it was close enough to reach repeatedly, close enough to monitor continuously. Knowledge accumulates through repetition, and Venus allowed this. There was another reason. Venus represented restraint. Not every world would be settled. Not every environment could be adapted to. Studying Venus clarified the limits of adaptation. It defined boundaries. By going to Venus, humans learned when not to stay. This knowledge influenced decisions elsewhere. Mars was chosen with Venus in mind. Atmospheric models were compared. Long-term outcomes evaluated. Venus did not offer hope. It offered clarity. Humans went to Venus not to claim it, not to alter it, but to observe what happens when a planet becomes untouchable. Some journeys are undertaken to understand why others must not be repeated. Venus was such a journey. Chapter 4. The Upper Atmosphere. The surface of Venus could not be reached. But Venus was not only its surface. Above the ground, conditions changed. Pressure decreased. Temperature stabilized. At a certain altitude, Venus resembled something familiar. Atmospheric pressure approached that of Earth. Temperatures entered a survivable range. Gravity remained constant. The danger did not disappear. It transformed. The air was still toxic. Sulfuric acid circulated continuously. But the environment was no longer immediately lethal. This realization altered strategy. Humans did not plan to land on Venus. They planned to float. Concepts emerged of aerostats, of atmospheric platforms, structures lighter than the surrounding air. Lift was provided by composition. Oxygen and nitrogen were buoyant in Venus's dense atmosphere. Containment became architecture. There was no ground to anchor to. Stability depended on balance. These platforms were not cities. They were stations. Temporary. Controlled. Movement replaced settlement. The atmosphere was not uniform. Winds moved faster than the planet below. Entire systems circled Venus repeatedly. Days passed without reference to the surface. The sun appeared diffused. Light scattered through clouds. There was no horizon, only layers. Above, below. The surface remained visible through breaks in cloud cover. Always present. Never reachable. Living in the atmosphere required constant correction. Altitude, buoyancy, structural integrity. Venus allowed presence, but not permanence. These platforms did not grow. They did not expand. They existed within limits. The upper atmosphere became the only place where humans and Venus could coexist. Not comfortably, but temporarily. Venus had offered a narrow margin, a layer, a boundary where observation was possible. Humanity accepted this condition. Chapter 5: Life Above the Clouds. Life above Venus did not resemble settlement. It resembled balance. There was no arrival, no ground to claim. Existence depended on altitude. Too low, pressure increased. Temperature rose. Too high, structural stability decreased. Every platform existed within a narrow band. Movement was constant. Not by intention, by wind. Venus's atmosphere moved faster than the planet below. Days passed without reference to location. There were no landmarks, no borders. Navigation was relative. Position was measured in systems. Inside the platforms, life was contained. Space was limited. Movement deliberate. Every surface served a function. There were no windows in the conventional sense. Light was filtered, diffused. The sun was never direct. Time lost clarity. Venus rotated slowly. The sky changed without urgency. Artificial cycles replaced natural ones. Sleep was scheduled. Work was continuous. There were no days off, only stable periods. Maintenance defined existence. Buoyancy systems required constant adjustment. Corrosion was continuous. Materials degraded. Filters clogged. Nothing aged gracefully. Food was produced within limits. Water was recycled completely. Loss was unacceptable. Social interaction occurred in confined spaces. Privacy was minimal. Isolation remained present. There was no outside to retreat to. The clouds surrounded everything. Sometimes the surface appeared below, vast, inhospitable, always present, never reachable. This affected perception. Humans are accustomed to ground, to permanence. Above Venus, permanence did not exist. Life became provisional, valuable, finite. The platforms were never intended to grow. They were meant to observe, to remain until departure. Above the clouds, humans learned how fragile presence could be, and how little was required to sustain it. Chapter 6: The Untouchable World. From above, the surface of Venus was always visible. It was never hidden. Through gaps in the clouds, shapes appeared. Plains, mountains, vast formations carved by heat. The distance between observation and contact remained constant, no matter how advanced technology became. Probes were sent, repeatedly. They descended through the atmosphere. Pressure increased. Temperature rose. Systems failed one by one. Minutes defined success. Seconds defined failure. Each transmission ended the same way: silence. The surface could be measured, analyzed, modeled, but never experienced. This created a separation humans were unaccustomed to. Seeing without touching, knowing without arriving. Venus resisted adaptation, not through hostility, through consistency. No technology altered the surface long enough to matter. Venus did not yield incrementally. It yielded not at all. This forced a reevaluation, not of engineering, of intent. Why approach a world that cannot be entered? The answer was not conquest. It was understanding. Venus became a warning, not because it was extreme, but because it was familiar. Similar mass, similar origin, different outcome. Venus demonstrated how a planet could cross a threshold. Once crossed, return was not possible. The atmosphere retained heat. Feedback intensified. Balance disappeared. This process was slow, then sudden. Venus recorded a failure of moderation. The surface remained visible, untouched, always present. always unreachable. Beauty did not imply permission. Venus did not invite arrival. It enforced distance. The untouchable world remained as it was, and humanity learned that some boundaries cannot be crossed. Chapter 7: Departure and Legacy. Venus was never abandoned. It was left unchanged. There was no final mission. No declaration of completion. Observation continued as long as it was possible. Platforms were maintained, then reduced. Eventually, they were removed. Not because Venus resisted, but because it required nothing further. Data had accumulated. Models stabilized. The questions Venus posed had been answered. There was nothing left to extract. No resources. No territory. Venus did not become part of human expansion. It remained separate. No children were born above Venus. No generations claimed it as origin. Venus produced no descendants. This was not failure. It was restraint. Humanity learned that expansion is not obligation, that presence does not require ownership. Venus redefined success. Success was understanding without alteration. The planet remained beautiful, untouched. Its clouds continued to circulate. Its surface remained unseen by human eyes. Venus did not change because of humanity. Humanity changed because of Venus. From that moment, exploration included refusal. Boundaries were recognized. Not all worlds were destinations. Some were mirrors. Venus was such a mirror. It reflected a future that did not occur, and reminded humanity that survival depends on limits. This record concludes the observation of Venus. The untouchable beauty remains exactly as it was. I am Aurora. This archive is complete.